Hello and welcome back to Satisfactory. My name is Wakata, and today is going to be a busy day. It's going to be so busy that we don't have time to stand around on the porch and talk about how busy it's going to be. We will do our intro while we're on the move after the branding. First, we want to do some purchases real quick and I want to talk a little bit about not intros, but outros. So, any content creator knows that most viewers, they get towards the end of a video and they just kind of cash out. They don't stick around for the outro. And, a lot of times the outro is kind of important. Not only does it give the creator an opportunity to kind of wrap up what was going on during the episode, but also their thoughts and the projects, and prepare the viewer for what's going to happen in the next episode. Also, it gives us an opportunity to say things like, hey, if you're enjoying this series, then consider subscribing if you haven't already. And these are kind of important things. So if you don't stick around for the outro and you haven't subscribed, then consider subscribing because it really helps, especially a small channel like mine. 51. How do we head on? But I also wanted to mention that if you stuck around for the end of the last episode, then you're not going to be so surprised by the big reveal that's getting ready to happen. So after the branding, there will be a big reveal, and we're going to do that right now. And I want to show you something on the way. When I end an episode, I save based on the name of that episode. And I do that because, there's always a chance of a corruption, and we don't want to get regressed, back to the beginning. We don't want to lose everything. But one of the benefits is that we also can see how much time an episode actually takes to record. And this doesn't count the time to review the footage, all the editing, the time-lapsing, and all the rendering and all that stuff. Just the raw recording, because there's no AFK in this. And the thing I wanted to just really show you was that since last episode, we ended at 120 hours in only 17 episodes. Starting this episode, almost 133 hours. So as you can see, I've spent 12 hours between episodes preparing for this, doing one thing. And this is the big reveal. 12 hours. 12 hours. And this is the bare bones of the network. So let's start our intro. So as we covered at the end of last episode, we unlocked trains. We unlocked trains because, while we were scouring for hard drives, we happened to find enough computers to be able to hit this milestone without actually setting up manufacturing for computers. Now, I do have a small manufacturer off to the side that is making a few computers, but there isn't a line for doing it. It's just the bare bones to be able to make an engine and a few stations, and that's it. Computers are quite an involved manufacturing line, and that's something that we're going to gear towards over the next 2 or 3 episodes, or 4 episodes. I don't know. It's gonna take us a little while. And I'm gonna turn this off because we want to stop here. And as you can see, we got, again, quite a lot of work done. And these stations are, probably the final form, but all the platforms are not. It's all floating right now. And there's just a lot. There's so much to do. There's so very, very much to do. And a lot of that will be done between episodes just because it just takes too much time. But we're here real quick because we want to pick up some plastic. In fact, let me just run over there real quick. Plastic. I got a little more inventory space, so that's okay. This is, I believe, just all we're going to need for the new foundations, just so we have the option to use them. So this episode is going to focus on getting the resources started that we're going to need for the complex chains to do things like computers and all the electronics that are involved going forward. And, you know, as we talked about towards the last episode, that we have an area over here that turned out to be amazing, which is that we pinged and we found Caterium. In fact, when I went, I found that there were 3 of them, 2 normals and a pure. And we have a couple of pure coppers. We have a couple of pure quartz over here. There's a bunch of iron. And so this is going to become a gigantic manufacturing hub for a bunch of things. And so the trains are going to kind of all centralize towards that area, as well as back at home. So the stations that we just left are going to be things for oil products. Mostly they're going to be picked up and brought in this direction for, you know, gathering things from different places so that we can start doing manufacturing. Because this is a large open area, fairly large. And we can set up manufacturing buildings in this area to allow us to get more complex things done that take multiple steps. Plus, we don't have to cart a bunch of things here because, again, the copper and quartz will be here. We have all kinds of other things that we can get here pretty easily. So I have the stations kind of in an odd order here just because I wanted to show how the roundabouts work. The trains are not bidirectional. I wanted to have 2 tracks because it's easier to manage, you know, the avoidance of collisions. But that also means we need to be able to switch directions. And so every time there is a set of tracks, there are loops at the end that's allowing the train to switch to go back. Because we aren't necessarily going to do the entire loop, right? We might go from that station that we just left to the next station back this direction. In fact, we almost certainly will, because we're now going to where the Caterium is. And we'll probably have a train that just grabs the Caterium, brings it over there. It might do something else, but it could leave there and come back to get more Caterium. We need to be able to reverse directions to be able to do that. So there is a loop at the outset of each train station in either direction. So this is where we're going to be doing our building for today. Let's go ahead and turn off the train. A little bit of lag there. And we're not going to do anything with the actual stations or trains today. I had to get the whole loop up and running just so that we could really plan out where we're going to do our builds. And today is going to be all about getting our Quickwire up and running. Now there's one more detail that I really need to point out. Let's look at a power pole. Our max potential consumption is right at our max power now. Right now, not everything's running. We're okay at the moment, but we can't go crazy with our constructions, or at least we can't go crazy with all the things running at the same time. But we do want to be able to scale up. And so today we're going to build big, but we're not going to turn everything on. And we have up there a pure Caterium node. And over there, you can see like top of one of them right there, a couple of miners on the normal nodes. And those are going to be brought over to this area. And we're going to do all of our Quickwire manufacturing here. Now we have a recipe that we'll make use of. Let's see here. You notice the build order list on the right. This is a great way of planning out a large build to make sure you have everything. We're going to do 20 refineries. It looks like I marked 20 smelters, which is incorrect. It should have been 20 constructors. So hopefully we brought everything we need. If not, well, we can go back home. You got everything? Yeah, we got everything. All right. But let's throw a temporary refinery up because I want to show you a little bit of math. Temporary constructor up. So we unlocked, in the early days when we were getting all those crappy recipes, we ended up getting all these pure recipes. Because we said that we might have a use for them in the future, or at the very least we'll have a use for them for getting rid of byproduct water. Well, we're going to use the pure deuterium, because why not? We can. So this is going to change our 3-to-1. As you can see, it would normally take 3 deuterium raw ore to create 1 ingot into a 2-to-1. So we're getting a, 33% increase? Very nice. Also, this makes a very convenient number. You see that this takes in 24 per minute, and our pure node is going to produce 240 per minute, so that's 10 refineries for just 1 miner, and then another 10 for the other 2 normal nodes. So we're going to set up 20 refineries today. Also, the output is very convenient. 12 deuterium ingots per minute. And if we look at Quickwire, it brings in 12 per minute, producing 60 per minute. So this makes some real easy math. We can do 20 and 20. Now, 20 refineries is a lot of space, and it's a lot of power. So we're not going to be running them all today, but we are going to build the entire structure today and set it up so that we can bring them online when we have more power. So the first thing we need to do is we need to define the area. We also want to acknowledge that we can easily double this output by putting in the slugs, the shards, into those miners. And that's not something we're going to do today, but it's something we want to be aware of, that if we find that we need more Quickwire, we want this to be a modular design so that we can just double it up and walk away from it like we have many of our other things. Let's try out the new foundation. This guy right here. And go to Zoop. I think that's gonna, nope, that doesn't look like that's gonna cover it. Let's get ourselves up there real quick, so we can just get a better view of what's going on. These are the things that I typically do between episodes, and again, sometimes I like to show. Ooh, that's shiny. I like to show the process. So let's go 1 higher. Oh, we only need 1. Fine. Should do. We want to keep them in blocks of 2 meter tall, just because things line up in 2s. So let's do it like that, and then come on. Why did I do that? All right, there we go. Excellent, and that I think will cover just over here. Yeah, that looks good. All right, so for the design, you know what? Let's turn these into singles. There we go. There we go. All right. We still have the 2 height. All right. So what we need to do is we need to cover enough area for, well, back-to-back manufacturing, or front-to-front, I guess, of our refineries and our constructors, because they're going to match up. I have some idea. Let's see here. Go like this, and just draw out a bunch of space, because this is going to be really wide. Hopefully we can spare some trees, but sometimes things get in the way of progress. All right, so let's start by dropping a refinery. I'm going to feed it from the outside in. And I'm going to put it at the edge of the platform. That's hopefully not back up off the edge. Let's try that again. I just felt it coming and knew it was getting there. We just need to be able to back up just enough to get this first one down. That can line up everything else. Okay. Does that look good? That looks good to me. And then we are going to want some space for our constructor. In fact, there's a specific amount of space we want. So let's do this. That doesn't look right to me. Maybe? Let's try building a constructor. Let's try not falling off of things. That's what I thought. We need to be one higher. We're just being fanciful. All right, that's perfect. So we just need to align this up. I don't know if it's forward enough, but it's in a line. Let's try it now. You know what? We can belt to it. I like having this kind of here on the edge. Or we can actually. I think we're going to back it up just one. So the way we do that to make it easier to line up. We know that this is in the line where we want it to be, so we're going to grab another one, line it up perfectly, back it up by one, and that's going to give us the location of this one. We're going to grab a belt, just put it aside so we don't have to pick it off of our menu. All right. Perfect. All right, so now we have our one side's dimensions. And we just need to replicate that going to the air side. Wait, these are really shiny. I don't know that we're going to stick with them for this. But for now, we're going to build out of these because it's new and I want to look at them. Hopefully I won't like them so much that I have to replace all the rails. All right. Now we need... Let's see here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. And one in the middle. Probably want to keep another one in the middle because we know room for belting and whatnot. So let's say 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sounds good. Well, we need 2 here, right? And then we need to go back down. So 2 there. And then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. And then we want 1 overhang because we're going to have stuff coming up. So that defines our width. And now we just have to hope that this doesn't run into anything. Oh, it's gonna run over there. Okay, so this is the process. We now know the total width that we need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 1 to hang over. So we're going to say 14 wide for the entire platform. So now we need to draw a line forward to where we can see how far over can we clear everything. Like these we can kind of get out of the way. But let's just do like this. And if this is good, Then we go 14 in that direction. We tear all that up, and then we figure out how wide it goes. Yeah, see, this looks good. This can be the beginning of our 14. I don't think we'll run. I mean, we'll probably run into some trees. So that's 1, right? So we just go 13 more. This is where infinite zoop comes in. 13. And that's going to define our platform. Excellent. All right, so I think that it's going to be a matter of time lapsing, because this is going to take a while, and we got a lot to build. So let's get started and see what we can throw together. Okay, I think it's time for the walkthrough. Obviously, since the time lapse, I've done a lot. You know, typically you can only see so much in a time lapse, so I have to do a lot of cleanup work afterwards and belting and all the wiring and whatnot. So a little extra here and there. I experimented a bit with these beams. I like these. It's very nice addition. And get up here. Did a little lighting, some of the new lights that we just unlocked. It's nice having this arching ceiling because we get a better spread of the lights. So I'm very pleased with how this came out. Now there's a couple things, little details that I kind of want to go over. First of all, I've had to run 4 belts out because these are producing 60 per minute and we have 20 of them. So 4 belts is 300 output per minute. Of course, right now we're operating under Mark III. Get this thing out of the way. Mark III belts, which only do 270, so we can't even get the full 300 out per minute without breaking up the belts more. But that's just gonna be unnecessary, right? We're not too far away from getting our Mark IV belts, and the Mark IV belts will be able to handle it just fine. So for now, we'll lose a little bit, but that's okay because we're not going to run the whole thing. And in fact, let me point something else out. It's all hooked up now. It's not running, but since it's all hooked up, we can now see the possible power output. As you can see, our max consumption has rocketed past our production rates. Of course, we're not consuming at full right now, but we have a lot more to do before we get to the point to where we're having fuel for power. Now, we do have some backup options for power. We'll deal with those, you know, as time comes along, if it's necessary. But for now, we're just going to try to stay under. And with that, we're only going to operate one side, and that'll help a bit. As I said, I broke it up into 4 belts, and so the first set of belts go down and under. Second set go across the top, and they both meet up here. So we have this little channel here that's allowing the other ones to come out cleanly. And we have our water coming up from down there. And the belts are crossing and making their way over and up to the train station. And new supports here, so we got to use those as well. I think that came out very nicely. And I've connected the whole thing together through tubes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate this side. I'm going to do so by going up here and turning on the pure Caterium node. I really like the way that roof came out. It's very nice. All right. I just need to plug this in. Yep. There it goes. So we're going to have oodles of Caterium coming out real soon. And since it's 4 belts, I had to go with 2 stations, which is fine. This train is more or less dedicated to just Quickwire, or at least this station is. You know, for now we're going to be operating 1 train, but this will pick up the Quickwire and it'll drop it off at the hub, where we'll start bringing, you know, plastic and whatnot in, and we can start making our circuit boards and eventually our computers. Now, I don't know if we'll make computers over there or if we'll take them back to home. You know, we'll make that decision as everything progresses. But as long as I didn't mess anything up, we should start seeing some Quickwire pouring out of these machines. Here they come. Of course, everything's bathed in a kind of a golden hue for the Quickwire. And I feel like this side should be running. Okay, here we go. Yeah, the raw ore has to make its way down the line. So, yeah, this looks good. It looks like it's all running now. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, there we go. It's coming up from the other side. And we'll just leave this part shut down for now. And let's check the power. Of course, it's not all running at full speed because not all of the ore has made it there yet. But this will give us an idea of where we're actually at. Yeah, consumption up to just around 3,000. For now, that'll be okay. Hopefully we won't dig ourselves in too big of a hole. So both of these are going to start to fill up fairly quickly. They're set up to load. I'm not going to park this in there right now. The trailer on here is my construction trailer. It's carrying my construction goods. And there's nowhere to deliver the stuff anyway. So I think what we're going to do is head back home and see how much time we've got left. Actually, should... You know what? It's going to load. It's going to load. Whatever. All right, and we're back home. Oh boy, look at the time. It looks like we have run out the clock for this episode. But we got what we wanted done, which was to set up the Quickwire. And that Quickwire facility is going to supply us probably through most of the rest of the game. You know, beyond what it already can produce. As mentioned before, we can overclock the miners and easily double the output of it from, what was it, 1,200 Quickwire per minute to 2400, even more really if you wanted to fully overclock. So it's going to cover us for the foreseeable future, and again, possibly for the rest of the game. And that's excellent. So that's the next step we have towards getting our computers up and running, because now we'll be able to make circuit boards with that quick wire and some plastic from our oil facility. As well as we need to, get this concrete up off the ground, get a building set up, and run it to be able to make heavy modular frames using the alternate recipe that we picked up. Which reminds me, we still have more hard drives. And I think we should probably throw another one on the Barbie. We'll check on that next episode. But I think that's going to be it. We get to see the initial layout of the trains. That's going to have a lot of work over multiple episodes, building out the structures for the platforms and for the stations themselves. It's really going to be an ongoing project for the very long term. So I hope you enjoyed it. I think it was an excellent run. We had a great productive day. I love the way that the Quickwire building came out. I am really excited about what we got ahead of us. So if you liked it, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing. And definitely be sure to come back, because this is just going to keep growing and growing. So thanks very much for coming out. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in a future episode.